Tea leaves. Hi. So, this video today is going to be done in somebody else's room. Well, I was talking to someone last night. I returned to the website finally, the Depression Understood website. And I was talking to a friend of mine and that had seen the videos, and they're like, oh, you look a certain way. And I said, well, it's just the lighting. So I've decided to try different lighting, see if that helps. Not to mention, somebody is in my room taking up my space that I normally would be recording in. So yeah, okay. Anyway, yay. So today's video, children, is going to be about children. No, it's not. It's going to open with one though. So our house has been sick for the past couple weeks, just off and on, between all the people, just happens. And my son decides he's going to make his tea. And he gets the honey off the shelf for his tea. But he doesn't close the bottle very well. So now dripping all down all the shelves is this honey. Because you put the bottle upside down when it gets to a certain point. So it's, down by the cap, so it's easy to get to. Right. But if the cap's not securely on, what happens? Everybody knows. It makes sense, right? Because we all know it anyway. Okay. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because, so the first couple shelves are low enough that the cats can get to them and walk in it. And the other ones are higher. So after I removed the offending honey bottle, it's not its fault. Wow, the sun just got really bright. After I moved the bottle, I started cleaning up the two bottom shelves, but I didn't clean up the rest of them. Would have been nice for me to clean up the rest of them, right? Not my problem. Not my fault. Not my job. The only reason why I even cleaned up those bottom shelves was because of the cats, because they'll walk in it, and then guess who gets to clean their fur? Right, me. So I'm saving myself some trouble later on. But I only half cleaned up the mess because the other shelves, I didn't clean them. I don't know if he's going to clean them. I don't know if anybody will clean them. Yes, this is the house we live in. Anyway, it's functionalizing. It's a little bit over functionalizing because, it does need actually to be done. But I don't need to do it. Not my fault, not my mess. So anyway, it's just a little example. But it's crazy because, or the reason I bring that up is because, I was actually having a conversation with someone yesterday online. And, oh man, being back there and talking to everybody again, shoo-wee. I just marvel at how much people are not aware of the fact that their brain actually has a mind of its own. I guess you could probably call it like conscious and subconscious type thinking, because that's just what you're familiar with. It's not quite how it works, but we'll just use that because it's easier to say it that way. And you wouldn't believe how the subconscious just stops us from doing things. I mean, seriously, why wouldn't I just go ahead and clean up the rest of that honey? I already had the cleaning supplies out. Why wouldn't I just go ahead and do that? I mean, it just kind of makes sense, doesn't it? And even though I kind of wanted to, just so it would be done, something just stopped me. Some strange thing in my brain just was like, no. I didn't really want to, obviously I didn't really want to clean up the honey, but I wanted to clean up the honey just so it would be done. Something just stopped me. It's the functional side. It stops you. If you don't need to do something, according to it, not according to you. I mean, according to me, technically, I actually do need to do it because nobody else is going to do it, and I already know that. Kids don't clean up after themselves. They just don't. So, yeah, really, I'm the one who needs to do it. But my brain doesn't agree with that. No. Same as me being able to read the books about psychology and being able to, test my theory in that sense, to see if it's already been written, whatever. Nope. Waste of time. Because if it's true, then I've just wasted all this time. And if it's not true, well, then I didn't need to study their stuff anyway, because my stuff is mine. See how selfish and rude? can be. Yeah, that's how it works. Anyway, so I will carry on with the next part of it, and because it kind of leads into it. Because like I said, remember this. It's very important. Your brain has a mind of its own. So, you ever been, I'm going to use the typical situation that happens. It's cliche, but oh well, whatever. Again, it's familiar. The husband and wife thing. Where, for example, let's say the wife says, oh, I need you to set up a party for so-and-so. Like a kid party or whatever, right? Some task. I need you to do some task. And it takes a little bit of planning and it takes a little bit of work, and the person comes back and they see the work that the other person did. We'll use, like I said, the cliche. The wife comes back and sees what the husband actually did. This is not actually, there's a reason for this. But anyway, we'll just go with the cliche. And she goes, really? You've got 2 balloons. They don't even have helium in them. I mean, it's like you half did the job. There's invitations, but they're not filled out. And by the way, they say happy anniversary, not happy birthday. Because our son's not celebrating his 5th anniversary. He's celebrating his 5th birthday, right? That might be going a little too far. But anyway, the point is the job is half done, or if even that. And of course, the wife is looking at the husband and saying, you didn't do anything. You didn't, what's wrong? And the husband says, yes, I did. I went out and got this. I did this. I did this. Sorry. This came to me in church, so I had to share it. I actually had another video I was going to send. It was about empaths. But anyway, I'll leave that for another time. So anyway, yeah, I know some people are sitting there going, yeah, I'm familiar with that situation. Very familiar with that situation. Yeah. Here's the funny thing. When the wife looks at the husband and says, you know what's funny? I think you did this on purpose. You didn't want to do this work, and so you just didn't. And the husband says, well, no, that's not true. I mean, no, I guess I didn't really want to, but I mean, I did it. I did still do it. Right? Who's right and who's wrong in that situation? Here's what's funny. The wife's right and also wrong. And the husband's right, but also wrong. Sorry. It's not exactly how I said it to myself in church, but that's okay. The point is, remember how I said brain has a mind of its own. So this is a little tricky because people automatically look at you when you say certain things and they go, excuse you? Who do you think you are? And so that's why we oftentimes use what I call kind of like automatic responses, because the brain knows better. Because the situation is, no, the man did not want to do those things. No, he really didn't. He doesn't have a knack for it. It doesn't make sense to him. The wife is good at it, we'll say, because birthday parties make sense to her. She's seen them. She knows it just makes sense to her. I know that sounds kind of silly because it's like, well, how to come a birthday party makes sense to someone and not, it just does. It's just like when you walk in a room and you hear music and some people are like, yeah, I can, this is cool. I like this one. This makes sense to me. Other people go, it either makes sense to you or it doesn't. That's how it works. And when it comes to these things, sometimes it makes sense to eat the cake. Pop some balloons later on after the party's over, but to actually put it together, not so much for some people. Not big on throwing parties. And here's the biggest reason why. Sorry, you fell down. You fell, I didn't fall. Here's the biggest reason why. This is going to sound so rude. The man didn't need to, because his brain knew there was an alternative. That wife that's, I guess, so good at throwing these things, that's why she's able to point out how wrong he did. She's good at it. She can do it. So for, as much as I said it sounds a little weird to say this, So, well, you do it. That's what the brain is saying. I don't need to do this. There's an alternative. There's someone else who can do this. It's like passing the buck kind of idea. But at the same time, that is how our brains work. We are not allowed to be comfortable with that or to speak that out loud, because how rude does that sound? For this wife who's got laundry and she's running out to go to the grocery store and get the food for something, whatever. She's got a whole list of her own stuff. So she's like, this is your plate and this is my plate. Okay, so now, right? It makes it equal, right? And it really does. And that's kind of fair that way, right? Right? Doesn't change the fact that the brain thinks and makes sense of things the way it does, regardless. It just does. But if that husband looked at the wife and said, well, just add that back onto your plate, because no, it doesn't make sense to my brain. Whew. They may not have a dog, but somebody's sleeping in the doghouse that night. You get what I'm saying, though. The whole point is that's wrong for him to say that. That's wrong. Wrong. Who does he think he is, putting all the work on her plate? She was trying to say, hey, let's be equal here. That makes sense, right? It's not how it works in the brain. Sorry. Just being honest with you. But because the brain is not stupid, even though it, as having a mind of its own, it's decided to, do the work but not do the work. It also knows you're not allowed to say no. It's just not okay. There we go. Sorry, I had to pause for a second. Interruption. Anyway, that was weird. Oh, it was the sun. Okay. Where was I? Yes. So it sounds wrong to say that, though. So we don't. So the brain, it's smart. It knows this, and it says, okay. And then it does half the work. It doesn't do half the work. Now, I can get into later how that actually works in the brain, because that's a little bit of a different story. It's tricky. It's almost like a switch that you turn on and off, on and off, on and off. But again, it's not you doing it, it's your brain. When your functional side is saying, I don't need to do something, but your emotional side is saying, but you don't want to, like you want to make your wife happy, right? Kind of idea, right? Yeah. So yes, you're doing the work, but no, you're not. Wait, the other way around. So yes, you're doing the work, but no, you're not. But yes, you're doing the. The only way I can think of to explain it. It's a little more involved than that, because the functional side is actually in charge of the actual movement. That's why you see people making awkward movements sometimes. I actually had this discussion with my mom the other day. Sorry to run off on a tangent. And I'll probably have to go into this again when I actually cover, in book 3, I'll actually cover that show Bones. You know how sometimes you look at someone and they smile, but there's something strange about their smile to you. Like it almost doesn't seem genuine. It is, but there's something weird about it. Like it's not quite genuine, or like almost like they're trying to smile on purpose. I wonder why that looks that way. Whereas other people, you look at them and you're like, oh, that's just a genuine smile right there. There's no effort at all involved. That just happens. Why is it? I wonder why that is. Well, guess what? I know why. Same as how when people hug you, sometimes people wrap their arms around you. It's just like, oh, there's just a flow to it, and it's just perfect. And sometimes people wrap your arms around you, and you're like, you can actually put your arm, or can actually push it against. It's strange. It's almost like hugging a piece of cardboard or something. Sometimes, right? It's like there's something awkward about the movement. That's that switch thing. That's like that on-off switch thing again. It's where you don't need to do something but want to. So it's kind of like you're fighting yourself in a way, actually. But anyway, like I said, I'll go into that explanation more later. But just to give you an idea of like how like that switch idea works. If we'll call it your subconscious, like I said, it's not really how it works, but we'll just go with it. If your subconscious is saying no, but your conscious is saying yes at the same time, how does that work? Well, now you're seeing an example of that. The half-done job, the person who smiles without, they're smiling genuinely, but also not, hugging genuinely, but also not. All those are all related into the same thing, because it's like a switch. It's like the conscious says yes, and the subconscious says no, all at the same time. That's how that works. But anyway, so for as much as you think, wives out there, whatever, whoever, well, they just, they didn't want to do the work. They just did it halfway, knowing that eventually someone would come along. Someone, of course, would end up being me, who already has everything on the plate to do, will come along and have to do the work anyway. It's true. That is true. That is what was going on in their brain. Is that necessarily how they feel? No, I won't speak for them, of course, because some people do things on purpose. But some people do things and it looks like it's on purpose, but it's actually not. At least not consciously on purpose. Like I said, we'll have to stick with that subconscious thing. It's subconsciously on purpose, but not consciously on purpose. And you can kind of tell, you person out there who is the one who's supposed to make the party, you can kind of tell this because, when your wife or whomever is accusing you of doing half the job and expecting her to do the rest of it, or to, fix everything. When she's accusing you of that, for as much as you're going, that's not how, that's not what I was doing. You asked me to do it and I did it. You can feel it in the back of your head if you really pay attention. There's a part of your brain saying, not my job. Not my job. There's a part of your brain that feels, or if you can't hear it saying not my job, it just kind of feels a little funny, like they're right. That wife who's yelling at you, there's something right about her words. But no, I'm part of this family. I'm doing my part. You've asked me to take care of the party, set it up. I thought I did a good job. I did. I thought I did a good job. All the while, there's a tiny little feeling in the back of their head kind of going, did I? No, I could I did it? Nope. And that's how you can kind of tell. Of course, everybody's voice sounds different, and that's why I really can't put a voice to it. But the idea is, you can feel it in the back of your head. There's a little teeny tiny part of your head saying, she's right. She's right. I did do it on purpose. Yeah. But of course I can't admit to that, because boy, does that sound rude. Anyway, I'll talk to you next time.